tonight from downtown Phoenix, Arizona. 102 outside, but under 80 degrees inside Chase Field as we get you set for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Great to have you with us. Jim DeShays and Len Casper with you. The Diamondbacks with a comeback win to start the series last night. JD, we talked about Rizzo and Goldschmidt, the All-Stars, before Game 1. We're going to do it again before Game 2 tonight.
Yeah, well, and here's why. They were both really good in the ball game last night. We take a look first at Anthony Rizzo's evening. He hit not one, but 2 home runs in the ball game last night. That's the second time he's done it this year, the 6th time in his career. That first one was a bomb on a fastball. Then he got a breaking ball from the left-hander. No problem. He's dominated left-handed pitching all year long. Powers this one to right center field. Rizzo now tied for first in the National League with home runs with 22. His OPS at .898, good for 6th best in the NL.
And one off his career best of 23 homers, which he hit last year. Now Goldschmidt, probably the premier guy in the National League. He started for the NL in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and he means so much to this team. He leads the Diamondbacks in just about every offensive category. Has tremendous power the opposite way. We saw it last night as he took Edwin Jackson deep to right field. Let's take a look at where he ranks. 6th in home runs, 1st in doubles in Major League Baseball, and 2nd in the NL with 62 driven in.
And Rizzo's done a lot of damage against lefties. One of his 2 homers last night was off a southpaw, and they'll face a southpaw tonight. We'll talk about the starting pitchers when we return to the desert. Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Designated driver and enjoy the great times. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Well, Travis Wood, an All-Star in 2013, has struggled here lately. A .579 ERA over his last 13 starts, trying to get back to his early season form, and he pitched well against these Diamondbacks.
Yeah, indeed, he did. We'll take a look at the numbers. April 21st against the D-backs at Wrigley, had one of his best starts of the year. Worked 7 solid innings, allowed 6 hits, 1 run, a career high tying 9 strikeouts for Travis in that ball game. Overall, he's not had a lot of success against the Diamondbacks, especially here in this ballpark.
Wade Miley has not had much success in his home ball ballpark. You see his last 2 starts, but note they both were on the road.
Yeah, and 2-0, 0.66 ERA through those 2 starts. Month of July, he's been one of the best pitchers in the National League.
Game 6 of a 7-game series between these two. The Diamondbacks and Cubs each went 2-2 at Wrigley Field. Last night, 2 homers by Anthony Rizzo, not enough as Paul Goldschmidt and the D-backs eked out a 1-run win. Game 2 of this series coming up next. Definition, coast to coast on WGN Television, brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Dee Baxter, the Diamondbacks mascot, having a little fun with Luis Valbuena. Let's look at tonight's umpires. Crew chief Jim Joyce will call balls and strikes. Stu Sherwater at first, Doug Eddings at second, Corey Blazer will be over at third. Blazer actually ejected Martin Prado and Kurt Gibson late in game 1 last night. Now a look at Ricky Renteria's Cubs lineup. It's brought to you by Mazda and the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. The Cubs have dropped 3 in a row, 17 runs total in those 3 games, however, so they are scoring runs. Alcantara gets his second career start in center. He's in the leadoff spot tonight. Ruggiano was hot going into the break. Rizzo and Castro, the All-Stars, 3 and 4. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, will hit 5th. Junior Lake, a huge 4-game series early on in his career last year. Mike Alt is at 3rd, Darwin Barney at 2nd, and Travis Wood, the pitcher, hits 9th.
And we look at the Diamondbacks defensively. Mark Trumbo, the left fielder. Ender Inciarte plays center field. He made a heck of a play in last night's ball game. The veteran Cody Ross is in right. 3rd to 1st, we go Prado. Nick Ahmed gets a start in place of Didi Gregorius at short. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Goldschmidt, a Gold Glove winner last year. Miguel Montero is behind the plate for starting pitcher Wade Miley. He's 27 years old. He's left-handed. He has a 5-6 record and a 4.18 ERA. Fastball that sits around 90 to 92 miles an hour. Throws a lot of 2-seamers, sinkers. Gets a lot of ground ball outs. Complements it with a slider and a changeup. An all-star in 2012, 10 and 10 last year.
A little sunlight creeping through the panels, but the roof is closed tonight, as it pretty much will be for the rest of the summer. As we've been in triple digits outside for the most part this weekend. So it's the switch hitting Arizmendi Alcantara to lead it off. I was talking with him today. I said, who was your guy growing up? He named 2 players, Jose Reyes and Jimmy Rollins.
There you go.
The 2 guys he's been most compared to. That makes sense. And away we go. A fastball for a strike from Miley.
And typically you see a lot of that from Miley. First pitch strikes. Aggressive, works quickly, has good angles, big tall left-hander. Gets on top and drives that ball down around the knees. Kind of pitcher that from time to time you have to step out on to try to upset his rhythm. What else do we know about Wade Miley? Well, he's got a whip of 1.24. That's good. He gets a lot of outs on the ground. Better than average in terms of his strikeout rate, and same for his walk rate.
Mentioned in the open, a lot better on the road so far this year. 285, 564 here at home, and a feeble pass at that one in the dirt from Alcantara, who strikes out. One away.
Man, look at the action on this breaking ball. Inducing a very feeble hack from Alcantara. Miley, who's been on a nice roll lately, off to a good start here. But in this ballpark this year, 1-5 with a 564.
Swing and a miss by Justin Ruggiano. 379 over his last 18 games. Miley back quickly. 1 ball, 1 strike. You mentioned Miley was an all-star in 2012. He was the Sporting News Rookie of the Year in the National League that year. He's from Louisiana, born in Hammond, southeastern Louisiana University.
What are they, the Fighting Gators?
They could be.
Let's go to the Google machine.
You're usually good at that. And a ground ball into right for a base hit.
Yeah, he finished second in the Baseball Writers Rookie of the Year voting that season behind Bryce Harper. It was a close race. He had a heck of a rookie year. A little bit of a drop off last year, but he's been a pretty steady performer for these Diamondbacks, and very important this year because their rotation has been a mess. Injuries, struggles, been a lot of turnover in the rotation.
Now Anthony Rizzo, man on, 1 away here in the first inning. New website run by our good friend Rob Nyer, part of FoxSports.com. It's called Just a Bit Outside, and some interesting columns this week. There's a link to a baseball prospectus piece on Anthony Rizzo as he finds the gap. The ball's going to be cut off by Inciarte, the center fielder, but not before Ruggiano gets to third. So the Cubs threatening here in the opening inning. First and third for Starlin Castro.
Shortstop number 13, Starlin Castro.
What new? Rizzo with a good swing off a tough lefty.
Yeah, so I will try to tweet a link to this piece on Anthony Rizzo. It's by Rob Arthur. You can find us on Twitter at LennonJD. Just about the differences between Anthony Rizzo last year and this year. And without getting too deep into it, one of the things they mentioned, JD, is that he's swinging at lower pitches.
Yeah, I read that story.
And, you know, last year a lot of infield pop-ups. So he went after a lot of pitches
up in the zone.
Not only up, but maybe too far up. And he's got that undercut swing as it is. So more on that piece. You should check it out. And the batting average on balls in play has leveled off a little bit.
Yeah.
To the better.
Yeah, not noted in that article, but I was reading one earlier this year on Anthony. Just driving the ball, the distance. I mean, last year a lot of balls just kind of died on the warning track for him. This year he's just making better contact, and I think it's just the maturation of a young hitter having a better idea of what he wants to swing at. Sometimes young hitters, and not just young hitters, but all hitters can be stubborn. If they get beat with a pitch, they want to convince everybody that I can handle that pitch. I can get to that, whether it's a fastball up and in, or for some guys it's the breaking ball down and away. And guys, when they figure out what they can't handle and are able to lay off of it, that's when they really turn a corner.
Astros sends one deep to right, but foul and out of play. 2-1. And a 3-time All-Star. Astros said the highlight of his All-Star experience was just the whole Derek Jeter situation, the ovation he got, I think everybody who participated and everybody who was at Target Field felt the same way. 3-1.
I wouldn't have. I would have just been happy that I was an all-star. That would have been the highlight. That was the highlight.
But if you had been there 3 times, you might find other things too.
You got to. Yeah, you got to be politically correct.
Here's a pitch. That's a base hit into center, and the Cubs lead 1-0. That one, I think, went right through the legs of the pitcher Miley. So Castro now back in sole possession of the team lead with 53 knocked in. Anthony Rizzo caught him last night.
Change up, stayed up, and then was whacked right back through the middle. The Cubs draw first blood, as they did last night. They scored 3 in the 4th last night to take the lead, and then the Diamondbacks rallied in the 5th and 6th. But a good start here is Miley, who's been very stingy lately, gives up 1 early.
Three consecutive 1-out singles now. Wellington Castillo, the catcher. Downstairs for a ball. So the Cubs with 17 runs combined their last 3 games, but the pitching staff has allowed 26. So the storyline much of the year, pitching keeping the team in games but not getting the big hit. That ball crushed to deep center. Inciarte back at the wall, the leap, and he's got it. He makes the catch. I don't know if Rizzo tagged. Did he tag? No.
Yeah, I believe he did.
No, they called him out. I think they called him out. Hang on a second. All right, Stu Sherwater at first, I think, was saying it was a catch. So he did tag. So 2 outs. What a grab. Boy, he's made 2 terrific plays already in this series. He's only played center field for what, 3 innings?
Yeah, well, that's what the reputation is, that of an outstanding defender. And he's played it a couple of times already. A real good swing of the bat by Wellington Castillo. Now they're going to appeal here at second base.
Yeah, I think the replay indicated he did tag. And that's what the second base umpire Doug Eddings saw as well. He was staring right at it. Now Junior Lake, second series of his big league career last year, right after the All-Star break. So it was around this time he came here and he went 10 for 19 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs.
Yeah, it was a pretty impressive display that Junior put on here. Hit a ball in the seats, one at bat, drop down a bunt for a base hit the next.
His first 6 big league games, July 19th through the 24th last year. So this is the anniversary of his major league debut. He went 14 for his first 27 as a big leaguer. He was hitting .519.
Well, clearly the league has made an adjustment, and they found that he struggles with breaking balls, especially right-handed breaking balls. And that kind of goes to our point, the conversation we were having about Rizzo. If he can learn to lay off of that breaking pitch, if he can recognize, see the spin, and stay off of it, he'll have a chance to succeed here. If he can't, he won't.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs have hit the ball hard here in the first inning. Maybe the hardest hit ball was caught. Boy, we've got a lot of guys leaving games due to injury around baseball. Troy Tulowitzki, upper leg injury. Brandon Belt has had some back stiffness. Henderson Alvarez took a comebacker off his leg, and I believe. Cubs get 1. The Diamondbacks are coming up against Travis Wood. You ever heard of baseball-sized hail? That's probably what it looks like without the threads. Inciarte, the center fielder, will lead it off for Arizona. Hill, Goldschmidt, Trumbo in the cleanup spot. Miguel Montero joined Goldschmidt in the All-Star game. Martin Prado at third. We mentioned he got kicked out late last night. Cody Ross is in right. Nick Ahmed, good glove at short. And the pitcher Miley bats ninth.
Let's check out the Cubs. Big outfield here to cover at Chase Field. That responsibility falls to the trio of Lake, Alcantara, and Ruggiano. Mike Holt gets a start at third tonight. Castro and Barney up the middle. Rizzo's your first baseman. Wellington Castillo's behind the plate. And Travis Wood is on the mound. He's 7-8, has an ERA of 4.96 through 19 starts. Looking to get things turned around and headed in the right direction here in the second half. It's been a rough go for him this year.
Facing Ender Inciarte. And he takes a strike, according to Jim Joyce.
Jim will let you know.
Inciarte, 23 years old. Great catch in the top of the first inning.
Feeling for the wall with his left hand, never takes his eye off the ball.
There's a 1-1, a swing and a foul tip for strike 2. AJ Pollock, who was their opening day man in center, is on the disabled list along with 9 of his teammates. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Wood starts as Miley did with a punch out.
Second baseman, number 2, Aaron Hill.
Slider running off the outside corner, gets the swing and miss from Inciarte.
Clearly the Diamondbacks injuries have hurt. The question for Tony La Russa, who's now overseeing their baseball department, is how much did they hurt, as Aaron Hill singles into right. Because you can go both ways. You know, you can finish the season, you're well under 500. You can go, yeah, but we lost our opening day starter before the season started. We lost Bronson Arroyo mid-year. We lost our 8th inning guy, David Hernandez. We were without Mark Trumbo for 70-some games. So let's kind of keep what we had into next year. Then the other side is, well, maybe that covered up some other issues that also existed. I don't know the answer, but those are questions that will have to be asked.
They were 81 and 81 each of the last 2 seasons. And I know they expected to be better this year, but I mean, there's an argument to be made on either side of that coin. And it's not like they went out and did a whole lot to improve their club this past winter.
One strike on Paul Goldschmidt. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Let's take a little deeper look at Travis Wood. His rate stats not as good this year as last. He's getting more outs on the ground. That's not necessarily a good thing for Travis. He's at his best when he's inducing weak pop-ups to right-handed hitters with that cutter in. But his ground ball rate is up significantly this year. Strikeout rate below league average, and his walk rate, that's been the biggest issue. Walks, and just overall, his command has not been as sharp this year as last. He still has plenty of time to turn that around here in the second half of the season and ultimately have a pretty good year. And there's, boy, a lot of responsibility on him now with the trades of Samardzija and Hamill. The Cubs got to get length. They've got to get innings out of Travis Wood because they're calling up these young kids, and it's tough to ask those guys to give you 7 innings with any regularity. You're going to need it from Travis, and hopefully Edwin Jackson can find a way to stay in games longer as well.
Goldschmidt back into the at bat here. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Goldschmidt, one of those guys that I think when you get the jump on him, you might as well stay on the attack because he's very patient. I saw him do it last night. He was down in that at bat against Edwin, 0-2, came back. Ultimately hit the home run.
Inside out swing as he dumps it foul. Still 2-2. Yeah, it looked like he had been hit by a pitch in the middle of that particular at bat. And he asked the home plate umpire, Corey Blazer, did it hit me or the bat? So the bat continued, and this is how it ended. And it ended Edwin's night.
And fastball up. He's really good on fastballs up, middle, away. Drives the ball the other way. He doesn't turn on the fastball very often.
Full count, 3-2 with Trumbo on deck.
Taking a shot at the outside corner with a backdoor cutter, just not able to get it there.
Hill at first, he just singled. Cubs got a run on 3 hits in the top of this inning.
Goldschmidt, one of the better fastball hitters in the league. He's batting .375 against left-handed pitching.
Runner goes, ball 4. So 2 on, and here is Trumbo, just his 5th game back from the disabled list. And a stress fracture in his foot. Missed 71 games.
Goldschmidt came into this game with a .512 on base percentage against southpaws.
That's pretty good.
That's absurd, Ferdy.
Wood here dealing with some first inning traffic, first and second. And Trumbo clubs one foul to the pull side.
A laser, but well foul. He's going to have to hit a provisional. They're not going to find that one. Whereas Goldschmidt is good up, I think Trumbo's better down. He's one of those hitters Uses his height and his leverage to drop the barrel on the pitch down in the zone.
The 0-1. Golfed in the air to center. Alcantara on the track. Right up against the wall. Makes a catch. Dangerous, but just enough room. So Travis Wood gets the fly ball out. 2 down, first and third.
Did not have to leave his feet like Insay out there, but deep drive dies the 407 mark at straightaway center field. What's going on? Somebody dropped something out there in the warning track. Police your area, please.
Wrapper of some kind. Miguel Montero, he was an all-star, replaced Yadier Molina. Travis just about let the Diamondbacks steal a run on a bad throw to first.
Goldschmidt worth keeping an eye on. He's got 8 steals this year. He's been caught 3 times. Got away with one there. Montero last night was the cleanup hitter.
One strike on him. Here's a pitch. Low and away. Keep you up to date on everything else around baseball. Matt Garza could only get 1 out for the Brewers in Washington this evening. 42 pitches. He gave up 5 runs. They're down 6-1 in the 4th. Battle of playoff contenders. Nationals a game behind Atlanta going into play today. 1-2 to Montero.
Well, we're going to get an up close look at what should be an amazing race in the NL Central. 4 teams tightly bunched atop the division. Pirates in 4th place, 3.5 back, beginning play today.
We're trying to put away Montero. 2-2. Good start to the year. Wood had a 3.35 ERA through his first 6 starts, but it has not gone well since.
ERA above 6 on the road. He's had a hard time neutralizing right-handed hitters. He did so well last year with that cut fastball. The combination really of the cutter in on the hands and the backdoor cutter. You get a lot of looking strikes out off the outside edge. Just hasn't been as consistent with that pitch this year. You saw the numbers by the right-handed hitters. Far better than what they did against him last season.
Another 2-2. Just off the outside. It's full.
Off the edge, and you're not going to get this call very often from Jim Joyce. He's pretty tight back there. And you got it right.
Foul pop, and there will not be a play for Castillo.
That's one of the scouts behind home plate, and there's a cluster of them down there tonight. That ball popped up behind the plate. He put his clipboard on his head and started running down the stairs. Now he's getting the business from the rest of the guys. It'd be that fine gentleman right there in the yellow shirt. He's just headed for cover.
Ball 4. So you mentioned walks. It's been a problem for Travis Wood, and even if he gets out of this first inning, a lot of pitches.
I just couldn't finish off Montero. Had a heck of an at bat. He's so cutter dependent. I think he would be well served to mix in maybe his curveball or his changeup a little bit more frequently, just to give the hitters something else to think about. Pep talk right now. He's you know the one thing you know about Travis, there's no quit in him. He's gonna compete.
Martin Prado ejected late last night after a 2-for-4 performance. Got into it with the home plate umpire Corey Blazer after one of his at bats. Got the thumb. It was the first time he had been ejected in his 933 game career. He joked afterward he was trying to get to 1,000 games before getting kicked out. Kirk Gibson came out to protect his player, and then he got tossed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Realizing he let a good one go by. Here's how this unfolded last night. Prado, strike 1 in that at bat was a pitcher's pitch. Prado didn't like it. Initially protested with some body language, and then after making it out, working his way back across the diamond, got into it with Blazer. It's a guy like Martin Prado. He's tough to strike out. He commands the strike zone very well. So it's just make quality pitches. Get him to, again, if you get it in on his hands, you can pop him up. He hits the ball on the ground a lot. 2-seamer down and away.
This will get Travis Wood out of the inning. Junior Lake makes a catch, and that's it. 27 pitches, but no runs. At hashtag WGN Cubs, and we may use it or them in our fan cam segment a little bit later on. She may be sending us one right now. Cubs lead by a run as we get into the second inning. Bottom three in the order with Alt, Barney, and Wood.
That had a words with friends look about it.
Strike called on Mike. Actually, highest batting average among these three belongs to the pitcher Wood at 229. Alt at just 144, but with 12 home runs. One on Baseball Reference was spinning around today on that great website and looked up if what he has been doing as he takes a called third is unprecedented, and the answer is yes. Nobody has ever hit this many home runs over the course of a full season with this low a batting average. Boy, he painted 3 pitches, didn't he?
Yeah, he just pounded away at that inside corner. It's just a tough at bat there for Old. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat and say, hey, nice execution.
Barney hits a ground ball right to Ahmed, the shortstop. 2 away. 4 pitches to get the first 2 outs, and here comes Travis Wood.
By the way, talking about Miley's alma mater, Southeastern Louisiana, they're the Lions.
The Lions. Okay. First bad one of the inning from Wade Miley. And a base hit off the end of the bat. Travis Wood keeps the Cubs going here in the second.
It's the end of the bat a little bit, but pretty well struck by Wood. He continues to contribute with the bat.
So Miley was the Diamondbacks opening day starter after Patrick Corbin went down with the elbow injury. Miley is not a huge fan of flying, which can be a bit problematic in this line of work. Oh, they're going to get him. Wood picked off. He did not read the move at all.
That's against union rules there for one pitcher to pick off another.
Eric Hinsky's thinking balk, but they're not going to get it.
With a chance to maybe do a little something, but then this pickoff move ends the top half of the second. Eric Hinsky trying to press his case to Stu Sherwater, the first base umpire, that it was a balk. Miley's got a really good move. There's not been a stolen base with him on the mound this year, and it's been a kind of a losing proposition throughout his career to try to run on Wade Miley.
Hey, Cub fans, make sure you check out Len and JD's baseball blog at WGNTV.com. Brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 36 years. Join the nation. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Now, Erikinski, he'll be lobbying a little bit down there with Sherwater next to him. Hey, man, keep an eye on this guy. That's a balk move. Try to get in his head a little bit.
So Cody Ross, hitting 7th in the Diamondbacks order, will lead it off. And a strike on the inner third on the veteran Ross. July 27th, WGN America debuts an exciting new dramatic series about the scientists working on the atomic bomb project in 1943, New Mexico. All right, JD, we've got some baseball knowledge here along those lines. You ready?
I am ready.
Which Diamondback on their current roster was born in New Mexico?
Ralph Kiner. No. He's the only Hall of Famer born in New Mexico. I learned that just the last time we had one of these. Current Diamondback born in New Mexico.
Here's a pitch to Cody Ross. It's low.
I'm going to go with Cody Ross.
You are correct, sir. Don't forget, Manhattan premieres on WGN America July 27th at 9 Eastern.
I just pulled his
Central.
page up here. He's from Portales, New Mexico.
2-2 is hit on the ground and into center for leadoff single.
You see Castillo reaching back for that one. This is what I'm talking about. The cut fastball that he was so effective with last year in on the right-handed hitters. He has not executed that pitch with the same degree of precision this year as he did last. You had a good look at Castillo drifting back to the middle of the strike zone. He was set up inside, wanted that ball in off the plate, in on the hands of Cody Ross.
Shortstop Nick Ahmed has his hands low as he swings and misses. With a really good reputation defensively. Just his 9th career game, his 8th start. He made his major league debut on June 29th. Won a minor league Gold Glove at short at Double-A last year.
MLB.com had him as the D-backs' 11th best prospect, with the best infield arm in the system. 324 down at Reno this year, but a lot of power, a couple home runs.
Lifted to right. That's Ruggiano to make the catch for out number 1. We'll bring up Miley, who will probably try to lay down a bunt.
36.
Mentioned Miley does not love flying, but he had to get on that plane to Australia to make the opening day start against the Dodgers. 16 hours in the air. Once vowed he would never fly, but as he has admitted there's zero avoidance as a major leaguer. You can't do the John Madden bit. Yeah, I'll meet you guys in New York in 5 days.
That would be tough. If anybody could do it in baseball, it would be a starting pitcher, though.
I guess you're right. Yeah. That just seems really unnecessary.
I think you're just better off tackling that fear.
I know John Madden, I'm sure, has been told this a million times, and you could tell Wade Miley the same thing, but it's more dangerous to get on the highway.
Yeah, but if you had a Madden Cruiser with a turkey dinner,
it would be comfortable. You're right. Bunted. And Wood will get the out at first, 1-4 on the sacrifice.
It's a tough proposition to get a sacrifice bunt down against this particular Cub lineup. With Rizzo at first base, Castillo behind the plate, and Travis Wood on the mound. All three of those guys. And Michael, too, very adept, very quick. Wood much more nimble than most pitchers. Castillo really good coming out from behind home plate.
Well, a base hit to the outfield does not necessarily score Cody Ross. He's coming off hip surgery, started the year on the DL, and he admits that that injury robbed him of some of his speed. He's trying to get as big a lead as he can here with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Cincinnati, a guy who doesn't have a lot of power, so you can shorten up on him in the outfield.
Signed with Arizona back in 2008. Briefly went to the Phillies as a Rule 5 pick December of 2012, but in April of 2013 was returned to Arizona. I assume when you take a Rule 5 guy and you return him, you still have to have your receipt, right?
Yeah, you do. You have to. So I got this here in the Rule 5 draft, and it doesn't fit. I'd like to return it.
Cubs got Hector Rondon in the Rule 5 from Cleveland. That has worked out nicely. 2-2, and Inciarte swings and misses. Throw to first to complete the out and end the inning. 1-0 Cubs after 2. Javier Baez, each homering in the same game. Boy, a couple of towering blasts for the I-Cubs. Look at this Baez homer. Oh, man.
Forget about that one. That ball is way up and way
Upper
long.
tank.
Baez launches his 16.
Some serious bat speed.
Been quite a week for the Cubs minor league system. The Daytona Cubs won early this morning, 17 innings, a game-ending grand slam by Rock Shoulders in the bottom of the 17th to beat Fort Myers. Kyle Schwarber with his first home run with Daytona, his 9th of the year. And that D-Cubs win. 0-2 on Alcantara. Cody Ross is out of the game, so whatever was bugging him has forced him to exit. Called strike 3. Alcantara has struck out both times. He did not like that call by Jim Joyce.
Bad swing at a curveball or a slider first time up. This time he takes the fastball. He's proving me to be a liar. I said earlier he's more of a hitter's type umpire, but that was a pitcher's pitch.
Giano grounds to Prado. I'm not sure if Justin knew where he had hit that ball, because at first he didn't move. He realized he hit it fair. 2 down.
First baseman Anthony Rizzo.
Miley worked hard in the first, but an economical second, and quickly 2 outs here in the third.
The thing about that Rizzo piece, a little more patient early in at bats and late in his at bats. You know, it sounds simple, but for guys like Anthony, as it states in the article I tweeted out, for guys with power like he has, the more pitches you see, the better chance a pitcher's going to make a mistake, as he just got plunked on a fastball.
Yeah, and that's something he's going to have to get used to too. He's right on top of home plate, and the more he hits the ball out of the ballpark, the more pitchers are going to try to work him inside. So his hands right out over home plate. And he gets started, takes it off the lower portion of his left arm.
Low and outside on Castro, the go-ahead RBI single in the first.
We talk a lot about hitters going to home plate with a plan, and generally that plan is know what you can handle, look for a pitch in a certain zone, and attack it.
Hill will get the second to force Rizzo, and that'll end the inning. Bottom 3 coming up, 1-0 Cubs. WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. 1-0 Cubs. Aaron Hill. 1-for-1 will lead it off here in the bottom of the third. Giano out right center with the catch.
So the next homestand, we're celebrating the 1970s. Remember, it's the party of the century at Wrigley Field this year. This Tuesday night starts a long 10-game homestand, and we've got the Padres, Cardinals, and Rockies all coming to town. As always, special 70s themed music, food, and giveaways are planned. So come out and enjoy a game and get on down. Cubs.com for tickets.
Goldschmidt walked his first time up.
Take out your clogs. Your tie-dye, your afro.
Platform shoes.
Yeah.
Bell bottoms.
Roller skate to the ballpark. Get it in there.
A base hit. Cubs had 3 guys over there on that side of the infield, but it didn't matter.
Talk a lot about Goldschmidt and his ability to drive the ball the other way. He's much more likely to hit it on the ground to this side against a left-handed pitcher. He rolls over a little bit on this one, but he's so strong. Muscles it on through for a base hit. Cubs do not have an answer for Goldschmidt. He's put up really good numbers. I mean, he does it against everybody, but he does a lot of damage against the Cubs.
Here's Trumbo, former Angel, takes it low.
Trumbo certainly a double play candidate. Puts the ball on the ground a lot, not speedy. Goldschmidt coming into play tonight, a .359 batting average against the Cubs. That's the 3rd best among active players with at least 60 at bats.
Towering fly ball, pretty deep but playable for Alcantara. We're out number 2.
Catcher, Miguel Montero.
Doubleheader in Detroit, and the Indians taking game 1 earlier today 6-2. Corey Kluber with 10 more strikeouts. He went into the 9th. Ground ball base hit. Cubs shifting again, but Montero finds a hole. That ball dropped by Alcantara, and now Goldschmidt's going to try to score. He is safe. He got around the tag. He just kept on moving. I'm going to say there would not have been an error on Alcantara if Goldschmidt had simply stopped at third, but he just kept on going.
Yeah, Glenn Sherlock with a very aggressive send there. Sherlock staying with the play. He sees the misplay by Alcantara in center field, and Goldschmidt, he's not just a big slugging first baseman. He can move around the bases pretty well. And you see Sherlock coming well down the line, but it's the evasive of Paul Goldschmidt that makes the play. The throw there was in plenty of time, but Goldschmidt's ability to work around Castillo, who kind of lost his balance as he went to catch that throw. Single, E8, no RBI.
So Alcantara charged with an error. And Goldschmidt scoring the tying run. Prado fouls back. Notice what he doesn't do.
Yeah.
Goldschmidt, he never looks at the ball. He just follows his third base coach.
Yeah, as he's approaching second, he's got his eye on the ball. But after that, he picks up Sherlock, as he's supposed to do. So many times you see base runners peeking back over their shoulder because they don't trust their base coach, and it costs them.
Low and in on Prado. 1-2.
That's a good pitch. We saw Prado do it last night. He's very adept at shooting that ball, especially when he gets down in the count in the hole between first and second.
That ball clubbed out into center. Alcantara will get to the spot. The inning comes to an end, but they get an unearned run. It's now 1-1.
Brought to you by Xfinity. Check this out. This is from a game back in May. Gibson and Williams. And Matt Williams was on staff here with Kirk Gibson. And a couple hard-nosed, serious-minded guys. But Gibson decided to, I don't think Williams was aware of the fact that Gibson had said he was going to race Matt Williams back to the dugout after exchanging lineup cards. But Gibby did, and he got the W. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Hit one of the biggest and certainly most famous World Series home runs on a bad wheel, and he doesn't move so quickly anymore, but he did that time.
Yeah, he's all
knee surgery, right?
Knee surgery, and he's got shoulders, an arthritic condition or whatever. But when you watch him walk, and I was watching him run a little bit during BP today, and he can barely moves his left arm.
Former college football player, Michigan State.
Yeah, think about his football days
hard too.
and the way he played baseball.
Yeah.
Nobody went first to third like Kirk Gibson.
Two balls and a strike on Castillo. 1-1 here in the fourth. Miley really has settled in after that first inning, and a fly ball to deep left. Trumbo back at the wall. It's gone. A home run to make it 2-1.
That's smart hitting there.
Don't let him catch it.
Yeah, blasted one to straightaway center last time that Cincinnati made a heck of a play on. So this time he pulls it into the seats. It's a very positive development. Wellington Castillo needs to put on a little run here in the second half. Two real good swings tonight. This is a hanging changeup from Miley, who has allowed 18 home runs now, 14 of those to right-handed batters.
Just like that, they have the lead again. Second homer here in July for Castillo. Took Felix Doubront deep at Fenway on July 2nd. It's gone.
Yep.
Lake gets one past Prado and into the left field corner. And around second he goes on his way to third. He's in head first. Obviously, Trumbo had some trouble with it. I was watching Lake. Would there be a double and an error or just a triple?
No, it kicked off the wall and eluded him. It wasn't the best play by Trumbo, but it wasn't an error. It's a triple. This ballpark, it's a fun park to watch a game in because of that. Big gaps, big in the corners with some funky angles. So you get a lot of doubles and triples in this ballpark, and those are fun to watch. These three base hits. You rarely see a triple down the left field line, but the kick in the corner gets by Trumbo, and Lake, who never quit on the play, just chugs on into third base. Well, they worked Mike Olt in exclusively, struck him out first time up. Looks like the plan here too.
Fly ball right field. Parr makes a catch. Lake. Boy, that was a lot closer than I thought it would be. But he got in.
Yeah, Parr is a two-time Gold Glove winner, an outstanding outfielder with a big arm, good, strong, accurate throw. And not for the speed of Junior Lake. He would have got his man.
Got in with the hand, and it's 3-1 on the sac fly by Mike Olt. Ball one on Darwin Barney. Hard, but on the ground to Goldschmidt for out number 2.
A home run allowed by Miley, just the first he has given up since June 18th.
Pitcher Travis Wood.
At the time, he'd given up the second most home runs in the major leagues. 32 innings, 102 plate appearances since he'd given up a long ball.
Good swing by Wood, got a piece of it. Singled in the second inning. foul by Travis. 1-2. Swing and a miss to end the inning, but the Cubs not only take the lead again, but now lead by a pair. Castillo with a leadoff homer. Sac fly 2 batters later by Alt after Lake tripled. It's 3-1.
Fans, it is time for the Subway inning of running. So let's go.
Host the Padres at 7:05. The first 10,000 adults 21 and over get a wine tote bag presented by E&J Gallo Wines. For tickets, go to Cubs.com today. Wellington Castillo with a home run. He's had 2 really good at bats tonight. But he connected on his 7th homer of the year to make it 2-1. Junior Lake with a triple and then scored on Mike Olt's sac fly, making it 3-1. Dirt on Parra. We have not gotten word on Cody Ross's injury, but it appeared to be lower half related.
Parra hitting just .192 against left-handed pitching so far this year. Wood looking for his first clean inning. 7, 8, 9 due up. This would be a good time for him. Good against righties. At OPS 536. Very anemic against left-handed pitching.
With a 2-1, it's low. Travis from Bryant, Arkansas. Taken out of high school by the Reds, 2nd round of the 05 draft. And bounce right to Barney. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Shortstop, Nick Ahmed.
Great to have you with us from Arizona. Game 2 of 3. We'll have tomorrow's game here on WGN as well. Jake Arrieta will take the ball for the first time here in the second half. In a couple of extra days, Nick Ahmed lines out to Lake.
Look at the numbers for Jake Arrieta since June 13th, 4-0 and 6 starts with a 1.49 ERA. Pitching deep into games, giving up nothing. It's 19 hits in 42 innings, 9 walks, 50 strikeouts.
Miley, 2 outs, nobody on. Strike call.
Josh Colmenter goes for the Diamondbacks tomorrow. He's been solid.
In the air, Alcantara in center to end the inning. There's that 1-2-3 for Travis Wood. It's the Cubs 3 and the Diamondbacks 1.
A 3-1 game. The Cubs lead the Diamondbacks. The Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
Cubs leading 3-1. Diamondbacks came back. Raised a 3-0 deficit last night to hand the Cubs their 16th one-run loss. 9-16 in the tightest of decisions. Alcantara chopping one off the plate. Throw to first. Just in time by Aaron Hill. So the rookie 0 for 3 to start his night.
Right fielder Justin Ruggiero.
Couple of strikeouts. Alcantara swinging early, as he's done quite often since coming up, attacking that first pitch. That makes a nice play on the speedster, going down the line close, but they got him. No dispute from the Cubs dugout.
Cody Ross left with calf tightness in his left leg. Outside on Ruggiero. 1-0, swing and a miss. Change up. There's another one. Luciano did not offer. Two balls and a strike. The wide and the pitch. 93 and hit the outside edge.
After a couple of change-ups, good heater to get even.
And he struck him out swinging. Five for Miley. Clark, the official team mascot of the Chicago Cubs, can be part of your next event. From charity events, wedding receptions, birthday parties, to grand openings and Little League games. Clark wants to be a part of it. You can email him directly, clark@cubs.com, or go to cubs.com/Clark for more info on how to book Clark for your special event. Strike to Rizzo. Been on both times single and hit by a pitch. Nothing in two. Blue Jays beat the Rangers today in Toronto 4-1. 7 shutout innings for Marcus Stroman.
A little silliness in that one too. Apparently,
was there?
Apparently Colby Lewis got upset with Colby Rasmus for bunting against the shift with 2 outs.
Ground ball to Prado. That will end the inning. Cubs 3, Diamondbacks 1 in the 5th. Check out the Cubs Ford upcoming schedule. Wrap up the weekend set tomorrow here on WGN. Late afternoon start in the Central Time Zone. Then back home. Padres come in. Long homestand at Wrigley Field. Ford go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Travis Wood with a 3-1 lead. He's got more efficient as the night has moved along, which has been rather necessary because he had to work hard to get out of the first inning. He loaded the bases Single and a couple of walks before getting out of it. That ball hit to deep right, and it's going to be over Ruggiano. It's going to bounce on out of here for a double. Ciarte. Boy, he looked overmatched, didn't he, in his first 2 at bats?
Yeah, he sure did.
Not that time.
Display the glove work in center field. This time a leadoff double. Cuts this one off, headed for the outside part of the plate, but he gets out in front of it. Stays in the park, he might end up with 3 bases.
Here's Aaron Hill.
This is where the Diamondbacks made all the noise last night. 5th and 6th inning. Banged out a bunch of hits. 9 total in the 5th and 6th after having just 2 going into the 5th inning.
Cardinals over the Dodgers earlier today, 4-2. Zach Greinke has lost back-to-back regular season starts for the first time in almost 4 years. Joe Kelly got the win, tired his final 13. So St. Louis winning and the Brewers trailing big could have a first place tie in the Central tomorrow morning.
Big Matt Adams went deep in that game. His 12th.
Still waiting for you to say Matt Adams without big in front of Matt.
Big, yeah, big. It's like big Jonathan Broxton when he comes into the game.
Yeah. Here's a 2-1. It's low, and now 3-1 on Hill. Reds got thumped in New York 7-1. Brandon McCarthy, the former Diamondback, got the win, first as a Yankee. So the updated standings in the Central.
Tough to handicap.
Ball 4, so some trouble here for Wood. 2 on, nobody out. And maybe more significantly, Paul Goldschmidt coming up.
Yeah, this is a bit of a bind here for Travis Wood. We've talked a lot about Goldschmidt and the damage he's done against the Cubs, the damage he's done against the league in general. His stout batting average against left-handed pitching.
Big spot in this one for Wood, leading by a couple. Inside ball 1. Orioles with an early lead at Oakland tonight, 4-0. What a wild one last night.
What happened?
Josh Donaldson had a 3-run game-ending homer in the bottom of the 9th. Get Jeff Samardzija off the hook. 5-4 the final.
Good pitch.
1-1. That Oakland ball club's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
60-36. Actually, I think Tony La Russa is there tonight. I think they're honoring this weekend the
89 club. Yeah.
Champions. Jose Canseco was there last night. 2-1. Basically apologized to everybody he wrote about in his book.
Probably not the most popular guy at these reunions.
No, but most of them said, you know, whatever, time heals all wounds. Big pitch coming up here for Wood. The 2-2 to Goldschmidt, and it's full. And now, when push comes to shove, what's he got? Doesn't want to walk him.
Can't throw him a cookie. That's where it comes back to command. You have to make a pitch.
Well, I say you can't walk him. You can walk him, but
you'd rather not.
You'd rather not.
Inside move to think about it.
Yeah, that move absolutely feels like I need a few more seconds here because this is a pretty important pitch. Runners go, ball 4. And he really didn't give Goldschmidt anything to seriously think about on that last pitch. So they are loaded.
And again, this is
never in the strike zone.
Yeah, and not enough to really get Goldschmidt to bite. And he's a guy who's going to be patient in that situation anyway because he knows how people pitch him and that they're going to be cautious in that situation. Talk a lot about hitters and their approach and being able to calm down and not let the situation get the best of them. And the best RBI guys are the guys that realize there are certain times they're not going to get a pitch to hit. I mean, they're ready to hit, but they're not, that heart's not pumping. They're not overly anxious. They're not jumping at the ball.
With a 3-1 lead, but that's precarious as Arizona has the bases full with nobody out.
A bona fide slugger in the batter's box.
He's hit a couple of balls really well, both for outs to center. 1 ball, no strikes. (2-0). Trumbo's last home run was on April 21st, right before he went on the DL. It was off Travis Wood at Wrigley Field. So he had 7 home runs. By April 21st, he was leading the league. Then he got hurt. Line and caught by Rizzo. Everybody's back to their base, but that's a big first out.
To me, like he was loading up, looking to get a cutter in that he could turn on. The pitcher's out away from him, and he kind of flips his bat out and hit it hard, but right at Rizzo. Travis Wood, with a well-placed double play, could pull a rabbit out of his hat and get out of this jam.
Montero has walked and singled.
Getting his 3rd look at him, and he's seen a lot of pitches off of Travis tonight.
Foul back.
He's been good in this situation. 310 with a couple of grand slams.
Here it comes. Trouble. Right field corner. Inciarte. Hill. Goldschmidt. And they lead it 4-3 on Montero's 3-run double.
Travis Wood continues to search for answers. Breaking ball that stays up over the middle of the plate for Montero.
Bases clearing, 2-base knock. So they've come back again. Strike called on Prado. Last night, Arizona put up 2 in the 5th and then 3 in the key 6th inning in the 5-4 victory. Prado lines out. Montero, ball hit him. So now he'll take off for third. They had him doubled off, but Olt's throw hit the runner.
Second error by the Cubs tonight. They've been playing pretty solid defensively of late. They're able to go up and snare that line drive. Maybe had a little more time to get a better angle to make that throw to second base. Montero with the base running mistake. It turns into a plus for him.
Pitch to Parra. Curve for a strike. That's going to drop. 5-3. So the Olt error extends the inning, and they now lead by 2.
Doubles, 2 walks. Costly error. A little bloop single. A tough outing for Travis. This game will test you. So good last year, so consistent last season.
Strike 2, Ahmed. Said it earlier, they need length, especially out of the 3 at the top of the rotation. Jackson has continued to struggle. No decision. He did leave with the lead last night. So a little bit better.
Kyle Hendricks will come up and make the start on Tuesday. That will be his second big league start. Wednesday's starter has not yet been named.
Fairly young bullpen.
Right, so you got some arms in the bullpen that you're trying to protect. Some of these young kids that'll be coming up, you're going to keep a close watch on their workload. Presents a little bit of a dilemma for that man right there.
Can add a bunch of arms on September 1st, but it's still only July 19th. We've got a long way to go before we get there. Barra runs, and he's going to be out. Castillo throws him out, but a 4-run inning, and the Diamondbacks now lead 5-3. Homer, the Cubs have led a couple of different times tonight. But Miguel Montero with a big 3-run double as the Diamondbacks plated 4 in the 5th. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or visit your local Honda dealer. The All-Star Miguel Montero facing Yadier Molina. His NL teammate Castro takes ball 1. Two and 0. That is a strike.
Get over 2-0 changeup there from Miley.
Mike Ramsey celebrating his 60th birthday here at the ballpark tonight. A shout out to Tony Partridge watching tonight. Send out condolences. Recently lost his sister. And tweets from Wyoming, Rock Springs, Wyoming.
How are things in Rock Springs?
I would assume they're just fine, thank you. Happy birthday, Amanda Clay Coates. We got a lot of tweets earlier from Southeastern Louisiana University.
The Lions?
Your crack about what was it? The Fighting Gators?
Yeah.
That upset all those Lions fans.
Yeah. Sorry, I just took a shot. Louisiana Gators. That's an easy assumption to make. But no, they're the Lions.
Six strikeouts for Miley. Wide for a ball on Castillo. Here's a pitch. It's a strike. Yasiel Puig had to leave early today. Got hit by a pitch in his left hand. X-rays were negative. Cubs will not see Houston Street, the All-Star Padres closer, next week because he's now with the Angels. So I guess Joaquin Benoit is taken over, although I think he took the loss last night in a non-save situation.
They may be doing the committee thing. I don't know.
I think it's Benoit.
Red Sox have activated Shane Victorino. They sent Mookie Betts back down to the minor leagues.
Wafted to center in Ciarte with the catch.
So if you have Mookie Betts on your fantasy club, you're going to have to make an adjustment. On Saturday next, that would be the 26th, Cardinals are in town. First pitch is at 3:05, and the first 10,000 adults 21 and over will receive an Ernie Banks replica statue presented by Budweiser. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
Matt Holliday left that Cardinal Dodger game early today.
I wonder if there's an issue physically coming out of the All-Star break.
It's strange. A lot of guys exiting early.
Tulowitzki with
Cody
leg
Ross
cramps today. Sprained ankle for Alex Rios of the Rangers. He left the ball game.
One and one to Junior Lake. He tripled and scored in the fourth. He bounces, picked by Prado third on the short hop. And all of a sudden, Miley cruising, leading by 2. Arizona. Spent a lot of time here in the spring, obviously. I'd say it's cool in March, but it's not quite as hot as it is in July.
Whatever it is here this weekend, but good work by our production crew, running that helicopter, filming those shots on the river. Send that bill on to Bob Vorwald. It's like IMAX. Only different.
Ahmed was at the plate when Parra was caught stealing to end the fifth. Red Sox beat the Royals 2-1. Get it together and hang around and make a push. Driven a deep left, and it is off the wall. Ahmed into second with a double.
A bid for his first home run comes up a little bit short. They'll have to settle for a two-base hit. It's the second consecutive leadoff double for the Diamondbacks. How the last inning started, and they pushed 4 across. And Korea asking a little more out of Travis Wood here, but how much more remains to be seen. Carlos Villanueva's up in the bullpen. Again, we talked about this earlier. It's a tough assignment for a bunter because Rizzo is so aggressive coming in from first base as you watch Carlos heat up, and Wood is such a good athlete. That allows Mike Holt to kind of hang around third base a little more than he would with maybe other guys on the mound, trusting Wood's ability to make a play.
Foul ball. Carlos Stanton is homered for the Marlins, so that is his 23rd. He just went ahead of Anthony Rizzo for sole possession of home run lead in the National League. Miami down in the ninth 5-2 at home against the Giants, and Miley went for strike 3. Here's Ender Inciarte.
You see Fazio and Renteria motioning to Castillo to go out and talk to Travis Wood, buy a little time for Villanueva in the pen. And for Travis Wood, you just want this conversation over. You're trying to send the signal, no, don't come and get me. I know why you're sending him out here, trying to buy some time. Yeah, let's go. And Willie said, I got to stay. Sorry, man. They told me to come out here. Let's go, man.
He's laughing.
I got work to do.
Interesting.
I don't want to give up this ball. Let's go.
Jim Joyce, who goes out to try to break up the meeting, really didn't need to, did he? Pitcher was doing it for him. Runted by Inciarte. Throw goes to third. Not the right choice. They did not have a play. That was a tag play, too.
He's already won out in the inning. If that was the bunt by Miley, then you can excuse this play. But go ahead and get the out. You got 2 outs and a man on third base. Bad decision by Castillo. Would have done everything just perfectly, and even with that, might not have gotten him. switch time coming.
Chris Coughlin is coming in.
I think he jammed his shoulder on his way out of the dugout or something. I think I heard the public address announcer say sacrifice there.
Yeah, sacrifice fielder's choice.
I can't be a sacrifice.
He was bunting for a hit for sure.
Well, because if you give yourself up, there's 2 outs and a man on third base. That's a sacrifice.
I'm with you on that, partner. 5-3 Arizona, and we'll be right back. Baseball, great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
Renteria gathers his infielders together after Carlos Villanueva enters the game. Causes a little huddle there on the mound. Not sure what it was all about. Maybe to discuss what they do if Cincinnati tries to steal second base here. I wonder if they're talking about Ricky. Ricky initially came out and made the double switch, but didn't go to the mound. He went back to the dugout.
Got to go to the mound, so I was wondering too.
Procedural issue here that they're talking over.
Did Bosio come out earlier in this inning? He did, right? No, he didn't. He came out in the 5th.
Now Gibson wants some clarification.
So would that have been considered? Yeah.
Well, he
already made the
double switch, and then he went back into the dugout. Then he went out to the mound because he hadn't gone out there yet, even though Carlos had been called into the ball game. So,
well, I think this might be an issue. If Bosio had already gone out, then Ricky came out, which would have been a second trip. Although he never crossed the line anyway the first time out, so I don't know if that counts as a trip.
No, I think I think the question was when he came out to make the double switch. He was talking to Joyce. He brought Coughlin into the game, said I want to bring in Villanueva. They called for Villanueva, but Ricky never went to the mound and got the ball from Travis. He went back to the dugout, and then Rizzo and it was, hey, we got to, more of a procedural thing. So then Ricky trotted out to the mound. So I'm guessing the question then became, is this considered another trip, or is he even allowed to do this? Common sense says, yeah, he'd forgotten to go out there. He's just changing pitchers, no big deal.
Pitch to Hill is fouled out of play.
If it was Frank Verdi or Joe Frazier, one of those old-time managers in the International League years ago, he used to make pitching changes from the dugout. Just yell out to the umpire, I want that guy out there and bring that guy in. Chance for Villanueva to be a bit of a hero here from keep the Diamondbacks off the board in the 6th. 2 of the runs charged to Travis Wood tonight unearned. A couple physical errors and a bad decision by Welly on the bunt, which could prove costly. He may start Inciardi here just to stay out of a double play to make sure Goldschmidt gets an at bat.
Almost foul. First, and Ciarte back in time. (5-3) Arizona. Cubs led 3-1 before a 4-run outburst in the home half of the 5th. Two and two. Popped up. Foul territory. Rizzo, you might be able to hear him saying, I got it, I got it, I got it. And you know what? He's got it.
Took charge early. Castillo able to back off, so no confusion. Rizzo puts it away. That's a big out. I think this is the base open situation with Goldschmidt up there.
The game in Oakland was started by Jason Hamill. And he was pulled after 2 innings. He gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, 2 homers. 58 pitches in just 2 innings for the former Cub. 5-1 Orioles in the 3rd. Lined, ball knuckling, and Coghlan can't find it. 1 run in. Throw goes to second. Goldschmidt safe with a double. It's 6-3. Top spin liner. Knocked down by Coghlan, but that's all he could do with it.
The league leader in doubles gets another one.
37th already for Goldschmidt.
We're in pitch around mode, and assuming maybe threw him a changeup, didn't get it down far enough.
So a 3-run lead now for the Diamondbacks. Here's Trumbo. Chop toward third. It is a fair ball, and Olt just has to hold it. A 45-foot RBI single to make it 7-3.
How about that? A little rollover chopper down the third baseline. Trumbo ends up with an RBI single out of it. The 7th run comes home and pulls the book on Travis Wood.
How about Trumbo? He flies to the warning track in his first at bat. Towering blast to deep center, second at bat. It's a rocket at first. So he's 0 for 3, and then he hits that one and picks up an RBI single. That is baseball. Hard to explain sometimes. But after what he did in his first 3 at bats, he's not going to give it back. I'll tell you that.
He felt like he was due. The game owed him one. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned for Travis Wood tonight. Walked 4, struck out 3. His ERA climbs to 5.12. 2 runs higher than what he finished last year with.
We will keep an eye on Garrett Richards of the Angels. He has not allowed a base runner, perfect through 5 on 49 pitches. Scoreless game. Mariners and Angels. Felix Hernandez pitching for Seattle. Olt will pick it up and get the out at first. 6 runs over the last 2 innings, and all of a sudden the Diamondbacks lead by 4. Yeah, the new wave power pop vault. It's the Nerves. In the late 70s. Peter Case and Paul Collins. Peter Case would form the Plimsolls. And Paul Collins the Beat.
I want some of that green hair.
We could probably arrange that. Mike Alt. Shallow right. It's Hill, the second baseman, make the catch. 7-3 for the home team. Since the late triple in the fourth inning, Miley has retired everybody.
10 in a row. Not much solid contact from the Cub hitters in this stretch.
You know, this game has kind of matched what Wood and Miley have done this year. Wood got off to a better start in this game. Struggled near the end of his outing. Miley struggled early and has gotten better. That has matched his season. So far in July, a 1.25 ERA in his 3 starts. First 3 months his ERA was over 4 each month.
And strikeouts are up, walks way down.
Well, and not to keep belaboring the point about the Cubs rotation, but with 2 spots opening up. Base hit, Darwin Barney. In spite of Jackson and Wood's struggles, they're not going to the bullpen or going to work out their issues anywhere else. They're going to stay in the rotation. These are guys who put up innings in the past, and the Cubs need them to do that here in the final couple of months.
Yeah, well, there's not really a lot of other options.
Right.
You keep handing those guys the ball every 5th day. Hope they can stretch it out a little bit, get things turned around.
You know, when I see people say, well, you know, let a young guy come up and pitch, that is happening.
Yeah.
You will get your wish. Kyle Hendricks is going to start Tuesday, and a as yet named starter for Wednesday. But that's why it's important that these veterans get it together here. And right now, the one guy who has been extremely reliable has been Jake Arrieta. And then the question is, what's wrong with Wood and with Jackson? The stuff looks the same as it did last year. I guess the simple answer is just not executing their pitches. And when they've made mistakes, they've been hit hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, and Edwin this year is kind of similar to Edwin last year. Wood's the more of a curiosity because he was so good last year and he struggled this year. The longer you're in the league, the more looks opposing hitters get at you, the better idea they have of how you're going to approach him. So you have to be able to make adjustments.
Miley's first walk tonight.
And then it becomes a bit of a downward spiral too. You start to get hit around a little bit, so you start to doubt your stuff. You nibble, you end up walking guys. Then you make a big mistake and somebody whacks one into the corner and 3 runs come around to score on you.
Comes Mike Harkey, former Cub. He's their pitching coach. Evan Marshall going to get loose. Well, we mentioned it last night. You know, Edwin has tinkered a little bit with just minor mechanical things with his wind up, hands over his head, keeping them at the belt. I don't believe he's at this point yet, but would he get to a point, JD, where bigger changes are made? Not necessarily just mechanics, but kind of a different game plan. More changeups, more sinkers,
Yeah, and
fewer curveballs. You know, something.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, and it's difficult to make changes on the fly.
Yep.
You're second guessing yourself to begin with. I mean, the games where he's used his changeup effectively, he's obviously a much better pitcher when he does it.
Strike on Alcantara. 2 on with 1 away.
You know, and the other thing, and I don't know that this is being discussed internally, but Justin Grimm has experience as a starter. He has voiced a desire to be a starter. Is there any merit in sending him down to AAA, get him stretched out a little bit so he can make some starts in the second half of the season?
Called strike 3. Been a rough night for Alcantara. 0 for 4. And 3 times has struck out.
After the meeting with the pitching coach Mike Harkey, with Miley back on the beam, watching a fastball over the inside corner.
My guess on the Grimm question is no, that he'll stay in the pen.
Yeah, that's my guess too. But I think
if they stretch him out, it'd be over the winter.
I think there's merit to it, but yeah, my guess is they wouldn't do it because he's struggled with his command in the bullpen, and you know, the repetition of getting more innings as a starting pitcher might actually serve him well. It's not something. I don't think it's anything they want to do. But if Wood and Jackson continue to struggle, and you've got to protect Hendricks a little bit, and Bila if he gets the call, you know, they may have to find some other options. Might even be a matter of picking up a veteran from some other organization that's pitching in the minor leagues or that's been designated for assignment. A guy who's been around a while with some experience that you just say, okay, go out there and show us what you got.
Fair ball. And Ruziano is out. Stretch time here in Arizona. 7-3 Diamondbacks. 7 innings, 3 runs as he chats with his pitching coach. That's Josh Comenter on the left. He'll start tomorrow against Jake Arrieta. Ball 1 on Martin Prado. 32,528 inside Chase Field tonight. Yep. Carlos Villanueva obviously in a pinch. Could make a start or two. Let's see, Dallas Beeler again. Dan Straley, recently acquired from the A's. Chris Russin would be a possibility. Tyoshi Wada we saw. So there are options. But again, got to get these veterans on track here. And the Cubs will need a good long outing from Arrieta tomorrow. Another off day Monday. A little strange after the 4-day break.
Yeah. I'm used to getting time off like that. We get giddy about the All-Star break every year. It's essentially a long weekend for the real world.
I was talking to somebody today and they had a great line. He said, always take the off day when they give it to you, and when they tell you got to play, you show up at the ballpark. You're right. Probably the best way to put it. It's easier that way, isn't it?
Yeah, don't take the long view, just one day at a time.
Full count, 3-2 on Prado. Pounded on the ground. Castro will throw him out.
Well, you hear players talk a lot about, look, we just want to win series. Well, really, you just want to win tonight's game. Fans, follow every Cubs game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, score, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Cubs.com today.
Now Parra came in because Cody Ross had a tight calf. Garrett Richards does not have a perfect game. In fact, he's trailing 1-0 to the Mariners. They got a run in the 6th. Still batting. 2 down here in the 7th.
Shortstop, Nick Hoffman.
Strike called on Nick Ahmed. Nick Evans is on deck for Miley. After the high one didn't get it, and a 1-2-3-7 for Villanueva. We head to the 8th, 7-3 Arizona. Brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Back here in the Valley, 7-3 Diamondbacks. Evan Marshall is on here in the 8th with a 4-run lead.
He worked a scoreless inning last night and allowed no hits. Had a strikeout. Good life on a two-seam fastball. A little sink there at 94. He's posted good numbers. The rookie 2-2 with a 342 through 26 appearances. Allowed 22 hits, struck out 24, walked 9. Good breaker.
So I got an on this date for you. 1966. Any guesses? This was a first.
1966.
Yep.
A first.
With Major League history. And I'll give you a hint. It took place in Houston.
Wasn't the rain in, was it?
No.
It came in the 70s.
Phillies and Astros. It was the first game played totally on artificial turf. Now, I didn't know this, but prior to that game on July 19th, 1966, they had painted dirt in the outfield. The AstroTurf was only on the infield. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's crazy.
Spent 20 plus years down there and didn't know that.
2-2.
I know they originally played on grass.
It just didn't
but
work.
They had to, the roof was clear. And the outfielders, the fielders couldn't see the ball, so they had to paint the roof. When they painted the roof, it killed the grass. And that's why they had to go to Monsanto and said, we need to fix this. And they invented AstroTurf.
Rizzo strikes out.
But I did not know that they laid carpet on the infield and had, so they had what, just kind of threadbare grass in the outfield. And they painted it to kind of make it look good.
Yeah. The first home run hit there was by
Mickey Mantle.
You're right.
Exhibition game.
Yeah. April 9th, 1965.
Put his head down, ran quickly around the bases. That was his style. Figured the pitcher was humiliated enough giving up the home run. Nick didn't want to show him up. Didn't toss his bat, didn't point to the sky. Just ran around the bases.
One and one. Zach Rosscup, left-hander in the Cubs pen, chatting with Lester Strode. Line in the left. He's 2 for 4.
Wife on the fastball inside, tries to get it in the kitchen of Castro, but he's not about to let him in there. That is a big difference between Castro of last year and this, the ability to turn on that heater.
Got under the glove of Hill. If he had snagged it, that would have been a pretty easy double play to end the inning. But as it is now, the Cubs have 2 on with only 1 out.
Second hit of the night for Castillo. His first was a solo home run in the 4th. Nice ball. Got a lot of juice on it, and Hill not able to glove it.
Pinch hitting for Carlos Villanueva, number 19, Nate Schierholtz.
Nate Schierholtz batting for the pitcher Villanueva. He shaved.
Hey, he's trying to change his karma here a little bit.
Somebody asked me yesterday about the dirt path between home plate and the mound here at Chase Field, which is old school. I think Comerica Park, similar. 6-4-3. So this time they do turn it. More on that topic when we come back. 7-3. The 8th inning. Oh, he just bounced one. I think it caught Welly in a bad spot on his warm-up tosses.
Face 9-1-2 here. He comes in with a 5.40 ERA. He's only been in 6 ball games. Worked the third of an inning last night. 2-0, 3 saves, a 2.61 ERA, 20 games with Iowa. And got away from the 2. Get locked in here. There we go. So you were talking about the...
Oh, yeah, the dirt strip. Rob Nyer wrote about this when he was at SB Nation a few years ago. Seemed to be 2 explanations. Number one, what would your guess be, by the way? I mean, going the way back machine, the origins of baseball, you know, the 1800s.
Well, there used to be a pitcher's box that pitchers pitched from. It wasn't a rubber. You just had to be in this designated area. You could throw the ball from anywhere in that box. I don't know if that was the roots of it. I used to see old pictures of old ballparks where there wasn't a strip like this. There was just kind of a barren area between home plate and the mound, and I thought it was just because it was trod on so frequently.
Well, that's a good guess. Originally, I guess they played early baseball on a lot of cricket grounds, which have a dirt path already built in. So that's number one. Number two is probably, you know, keeping fields in good shape were difficult, and with pitchers and catchers meeting up, Instead of wearing out the grass between the mound and home plate, you put the dirt path there. It's not really an issue today, but I think it's just more of something cool to talk about.
Yeah, it was tip of the cap towards the history of the game. I believe it was Buck Showalter's idea, the first manager here at the Diamondbacks. He was involved in just about everything, including the color of the uniform. Whoop, slipped. Way back in the history of baseball, the pitcher, his job really wasn't to try to get people out. It's just to introduce the ball into play. The hitter could actually tell the pitcher where he wanted it, up, down. Kind of like when you play sandlot ball. You're just kind of throwing it in there and let's go. The hind catcher stood way behind home plate, had no padding, had no gloves, played the ball on a bounce.
Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Lively fastball up in the eyes to get Evans.
One ball, no strikes on Inciarte.
Eighth shutout for David Price tonight as the Rays beat the Twins. He's won 5 straight. He's now 10-7. Continues to be speculation about his future in Tampa. Boy, they could get a ton for him.
Breaking ball missed outside. 20th homer for George Springer tonight, but the Astros dropped a 4-3 decision at the White Sox. 3 hits, go ahead RBI for Tyler Flowers. He's gotten hot. 6 for his last 9. Piecing it together, it sounded like Brandon Belt got hit by a throw in batting practice. So I think they're doing some concussion tests.
He's already missed a big chunk of the season. We talked a lot about Rizzo and Goldschmidt here the last couple of nights in our opens. Part of this really good emerging group of first basemen in the National League. Mid-20s guys. Matt Adams. I didn't call him big, just Matt Adams.
Just Matt.
Just Matt. He's kind of found that power stroke with his 12th home run tonight. Brandon Belt was having a heck of a year before he got hurt. Freeman, of course, in Atlanta.
He went around for strike 3.
Get a good look there from behind home plate. The delivery of Zach Roscoff. He hides the ball well. He's got good angles and good stuff. Looking at his minor league numbers, he walks more than you would like, but you can live with a few more walks for a guy if he gets a lot of strikeouts.
The Indians swept the Tigers 5-2 the final tonight. And 4.5 out in the American League Central are the Indians. Fair ball past a diving Mike Alt.
Slider moving laterally across the strike zone, but didn't have much depth. He gets on top of it, whacks it into the left field corner. Backs a chance to add on here in the 8th. Goldschmidt, the batter, base open. Looks like they'll pitch to him.
Joe Nathan gave up 3 in the 9th. And took the loss for Detroit. Three-run doubles, big ones today. Carlos Santana for the Indians, and in this one, Miguel Montero back in the 5th. 2 balls, no strikes.
Kept having some problems out there with the mound. That's at least the second time he stumbled a little bit making his pitch.
Hit a ton. How far will it go? Goldschmidt with a 2-run shot. It's 9-3.
How about his night?
Oh my.
Walk, single, walk, double, home run.
Came in hitting .405 over his last 11 games against the Cubs. He has done a ton of damage in his career against Chicago, and more tonight. Two on Trumbo. I got quotes from the Colby Lewis, Colby Rasmus situation, and I have to wait here with 2 outs, but pretty interesting. And with all the shifting, you may see more of this. That's foul. Blue Jays were up 2-0, 2 outs. And Rasmus laid down a bunt single against the shift. Lewis said to MLB.com, I told Rasmus I didn't appreciate it. You're up 2 with 2 outs, you lay down a bunt. I don't think that's the way the game should be played. Felt like you had a situation, 2 outs, you're up 2. You have a hit earlier in the game. We're playing a shift. He laid down a bunt basically for average.
Colby Lewis is dead wrong.
Rasmus said, I'm just out there trying to help my team. He didn't like it. So sorry about it. I'm not here to please the other side.
Well,
I don't agree with him at all.
Yeah, you can question the play as a baseball move. If I'm Colby Lewis, I go, I'm glad he bunted. He's got power. I'd rather have him bunt with 2 outs and nobody
don't
on
shift
base.
against him,
but I don't get mad at him. I don't take umbrage with him and you know, start chirping at him. It's crazy. Yeah, then he went on to say he didn't even try to steal second. So yeah, you can question whether it's a smart baseball play or not, but it's not anything you, as a pitcher, you should get upset and start chirping at a hitter for.
Very odd. All the outs in the inning, strikeouts, but Goldschmidt with a homer. It's 9-3. Backs a whole lot. That guy's really good. Paul Goldschmidt. And the Cubs have found out the hard way. A couple of home runs in the series. Anthony Rizzo hit 2 last night, so the all-star first baseman has been terrific. Castro, a couple of hits tonight. Miguel Montero with 2 hits, 3 RBIs. So guys representing their teams in the National League have continued to do well, as Oliver Perez, veteran left-hander, is on for appearance number 40.
He's been really good for the Diamondbacks with a 2.06 ERA. An opponent's batting average is just a 2.09. 3 strikeouts for every walk for the veteran left-hander. 1 scoreless for Marshall after 7 solid from the starter Wade Miley.
We can call him funky, even though he's not a junk baller by any stretch. And he used to throw really hard, but he's all arms and legs.
Angles.
Swing and a miss by Olt.
Drifts towards the first base dugout, then works back across his body a little bit.
Oh, 2.
There you go.
Not sure what that was, but it was a swing and a miss for strike 3. Is that a sound effect? That was very odd. Timing was impeccable. He threw that pitch 182 miles an hour.
The sound barrier. Perez started his career with the Padres and certainly thereafter moved on to the Pirates. Was a starting pitcher. Really struggled with control.
Yeah, he was a big strikeout, big walk guy. A big contract with the Mets.
Year 1 of a 2-year deal here with the Diamondbacks. He was a Mariner last year.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you look at Perez in his career, and it's not his fault that he made as much money as he did in New York. But by far the worst stretch of his career came when he made by far the most money. He was a good value early. He's been a good value late. And in the middle, when he made a big chunk of change, he was a $12 million a year guy. 09, 10, and 11. .682, .680. Did not pitch 2011. So that, in some ways, is a microcosm of what Theo Epstein has talked about since the day he took this job, is the value. Guys outperforming their contracts. A young Oliver Perez would have fit nicely.
Yeah, but it's a scary proposition anytime you sign a pitcher to a long-term deal. And when you sign a guy who has control problems like he did throughout his career, you just never know what you're going to get.
30 starts in 04. 10 years ago with the Pirates, 2.98 ERA. He struck out 239 in 196 innings.
Look at all these ribbon boards around here. It's like being in a Vegas casino. Flashing all kinds of lights.
It's a cacophony of neon, isn't it?
I guess it doesn't have to be a Vegas casino. It could be any casino. Imploring fans to pump up the volume.
3-2 on Darwin Barney. It's past Goldschmidt and into the right field corner, his second hit of the night. And Parra having some issues with it. Barney on his way to third. He's got a triple.
Slashes this one down the right field line. Busting it out of the box. He knows he's got two, and then when it eludes Parra, he's off to third. That's the way you play the game. Even down 6, go hard.
Good breaking ball on Coughlin. Walked in the 7th. Came into play left in the 6th. Pirates a winner, 3-2. in 11 innings over the Rockies. Awkward cut that time on an inside fastball. Jordy Mercer, 1 out RBI double, plating Neil Walker.
Tough assignment for a left-handed hitter. Perez. Charlie Morton, 7 solid innings for the Pirates tonight. Jared Hughes got the win in relief.
Montero right near the barrier, and he's got it.
Well, one last chance for Alcantara. It's been a tough go for him tonight. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
He came in with a 5-game run scored streak. Second start in center. They're trying to keep the Cubs alive here, down a bunch in the ninth. Here's the pitch. Goldschmidt will take it to the bag unassisted, and the Diamondbacks send the Cubs to their 4th consecutive loss. The final score tonight, Arizona 9 and the Cubs 3, and we'll be right back.